Ba-boom.
Last time on any given Thursday, Goku was still yelling. We were still here, and your fandom probably still sucks.
I was so enthralled by your introduction on that one. Wow. I can't wait to see what happens on this episode. Is Goku still going to be yelling?
Probably.
Is everyone's fan base still going to be toxic? Yeah. Yeah. And again, you know, I mentioned this, but really my goal, I just want to piss some people off. You know? I want to go out there and, you know, pick a random fandom. Ooh. Random fandom.
That's a nice alliteration.
And no, it's just a rhyme. But
fine.
Yeah, and just like, no, you suck. Well, never mind. No, you're fine, but your fandom sucks. Yeah, we have nothing against
insult
you.
them indirectly.
Right, I have nothing against you. I just hate your tastes and the people that are associated with those tastes, even if you're not one of them. Anyways, I'm Kevin, by the way.
I'm Rob, by the way.
Yeah, you gotta say your name in the intro usually.
Usually,
but why?
Oh, well, we were involved.
Yeah, we're involved.
No, well.
That's news to me, bud. Like, I wish you would have told me that
he knew
beforehand. Sorry, TK.
But I think we got a little stuck on anime, and it's because it's.
How can you not get stuck on anime?
You can, yeah.
It's so easy because the fandom is so toxic.
It is, and it brings you in, and it helps create divides to get you in different parts of it, right? Like, because then you find little sections of anime, and you have reasons to hate other sections that you still like.
Yeah, but well, so my current question that I posit to you,
sure,
is does the anime fan base, as in the fans, are they the ones that make other people who are coming into it toxic, or is it the shows themselves that make the fan base toxic?
All right, so you said that, and the first one that came to mind was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Okay, does JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the anime, make its fans toxic, or are fans who are toxic naturally like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Which I think the question's already different than how I first posited it.
A little bit.
But I like the second one explanation slightly, a little more straightforward. So,
and that specific example is hard to say.
Yeah.
Because I think it might make people toxic, but also attract toxic people.
Okay, so
it has an aggressive art style. It has aggressive noises, dialogue, and story.
Okay.
I haven't watched it. I just have skipped along it enough to know some things.
Fair.
Like,
that is one of the few that I have seen scattered episodes of.
Really? Okay. That seems like it would be hard to do for that.
Yeah.
It probably made no sense.
Yeah, none at all. I saw scattered episodes of it, and I'm like, oh, who are these, like, I forget the name of the unions. They're like the
I don't know. I couldn't help you.
There's people that are going to be roasting the shit out of me for not knowing this, but who cares? That's because they're toxic. That's why they're going to do it. Sorry.
From the weird, Viewutiful Joe 3D to 2D art style.
Which I kind of appreciate.
I do. It makes it look weird and hard to approach because you're like, I don't know what that is or why it's happening.
Yeah, but Viewutiful Joe is cool.
Viewutiful Joe was fun.
Like, I didn't play it. I had a friend who owned it. And I watched him play it, and I saw like a bunch of clips online and stuff over the years. Yeah. I really actually appreciate the art style of that because it was just so like the outlines were heavy on Joe, and it made like the rest of it. I don't like muted in response, but not really because the colors were so. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
It was a 2D game that was a side scroller that was trying to look like a 3D game in a comic.
Yeah,
that was riffing on and looking at movies.
Yes.
Like there's a strong
For
movie
the
theme.
PS2. Just put that out there.
So way back in the day, still looked really clean. It wasn't like, oh, that glitched real bad.
Yeah.
It looked well. But I feel like its art is just JoeJo's sometimes.
Okay. So if you appreciated Viewutiful Joe, then you should appreciate JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, obviously.
Yeah, we're branching people into anime. Do we want to do that?
No, because then they become toxic.
Yeah.
Or wait, maybe. Or they're already toxic.
Yeah.
Wait, so that means we're toxic because we watch anime.
Or because we're trying to get people into anime, or because we have opinions about animes we don't watch.
Ooh, I like that third one. No, because it's not toxic to want to expand the fan base and get more people into it. Because if you're welcoming about it, it's like the opposite. Trying to keep it exclusive is the toxic.
We are trying to find fandoms that don't do that, or that do that. They do not exclude people. They are welcoming, and it doesn't scare people.
Yes, because that would make them not toxic.
Right.
But we are talking about how toxic they are, so we're kind of doing the opposite. Like
well, we're trying to point out
this is a heavily researched analysis of all of the nerd fandoms that we mentioned.
There's some there's a journal, Google journals on this somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure that there's got to be. Okay, honestly, I'm sure there exists. College research papers, probably not theses, but research papers that are based on anime.
Probably.
I'm sure it has to exist.
So in your starting, maybe budding, potentially off and on career, reading college essays.
Yes.
I'm sure you've read a few on anime.
Yeah. A couple. Very cool. That's because, I'm a nerd, so it appeals to me.
Right.
So when I get to read those, it's like, oh, I get it. I think I mentioned this to you, but the first time I was reading apps, I had the end of one of the Marvel movies spoiled for me.
Oh, you did tell me that.
Yes. Yes, because the kid talked about, the big thing that happened to that big character in that movie. And, and I was like, oh, well, I know that happens now.
Right.
And
at the time, we were watching through the MCU together.
Yes, because I was very far behind.
And so we hadn't gotten to the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame.
Correct. Yeah.
And
the big thing that happened in those movies near the end of it with the guy.
Yeah. That could be either movie. Hey, we're doing good.
I know. I'm trying to keep it vague enough where it's like, what are they talking about? Even though the people who know are like, all right, yeah, we clearly know what you're talking about. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
So yeah, that was spoiled for me. But yeah, I get the ones about the anime, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I would agree with you on that. Yeah, I definitely agree that I think, Piccolo has changed your life. Which, well, no, that would be very sad.
Maybe.
But I think...
So somebody would have to envision themselves as Gohan?
Yeah. It'd be an interesting read. I would give them, credit for it being an interesting read. Is the thing. Because that's just cool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get that one every day. I'm going to get 2 of those a year, maybe.
He's just venting because apparently college essays are pretty repetitive after a few hundred.
Sports. Hey, look at me, I did this good sports thing. Hey, look at me, I went through this adversity. I had a sports injury and then I came back. Ooh. Isn't that so exciting? That was the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in life. Good for you, kid. I don't care. Sorry. But if it's well written, fine. But I want substance. I want something unique. I don't know.
People should be more interesting, is what Kevin thinks.
Yeah, you know what? People suck. In general. People are terrible. And they suck. And they're toxic. And they should be more interesting. Yeah. They should do more interesting things in life.
So sorry.
No, that's fine. I was ending there. I went down.
I had a thought between episodes here.
Okay.
It's interesting because we keep mentioning fandoms of very specific things.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, what makes a fandom? And I feel like it has to be somewhat... What's the word I want to look for here? Stigmatized, in a way.
Oh,
in order to have a fandom and then either be toxic or not toxic. So there are people who look at this thing and they're like, yeah, I don't know about that. And then there's this other group of people who are like, no, this is great. You should like it. We like it. This is why.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's just pop culture, and then is it really a fandom?
Okay. So I'm going to go back to one topic that we touched on last episode.
Sure.
Because I think it kind of counteracts that point in a sense. Harry Potter, I think.
Okay.
In a sense, counteracts that because it has touched such a wide audience. There's so many people that have either read the books or seen the movies. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of just such a popular part of public consciousness. But yet a fandom still exists that is more hardcore, say.
Okay, but are the hardcore fans the ones who are just like, yeah, I've seen the Harry Potter movies?
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
the hardcore fans... Okay, so the hardcore fans are probably the ones that are more stigmatized. Sure, and it does exist. Mm. But I don't think if you're like, oh yeah, like I really like Harry Potter, like I don't think that's going to like make anyone turn away from you or dislike you.
Okay, alright. So, okay, maybe it's more so...
But like Magic, yes. What else,
Okay, hold on then.
Pokemon less so, but...
Well, depends.
True.
My dad will rip into you for liking Pokemon.
That's true.
He's done it to me many a time.
And Magic.
And really anything
that's
talked about.
quote-unquote nerdy.
Yeah.
God forbid.
But, okay, so I feel like... Fine, there can be fandoms without stigma. But I think when there's a little bit of stigma, and people still like it, that's when there becomes the passion. The passion as an object now.
The passion.
Yeah, it's over here. And I think that is where a fandom either gets toxic or not.
Once they reach the state of passion.
The passion.
The passion, the object, the physical object that exists in the space.
Correct.
They have to get to that point?
I think so. I think people they're like onlookers. Like onlookers of anime, right? Are like, okay, ooh, gross anime. And then they're like, no, but we like this. Yeah. And so then the fandom forms, there's passion about it. The passion about it.
The passion.
and the issue with anime being such a wide topic.
Yeah.
Is that onlookers, anime fans, and then the anime fans that get toxic, poof, we're going to split this into a whole bunch of different fandoms and be angry at each other.
So are they...
Kind of like Europe in, the early 1900s.
Yikes. well, okay. I think... Oh, where was I going? So the fan bases within anime that then split off.
Yeah.
They're looking for a more exclusive group.
Yeah. So
that is, and as I have said before, I feel like that exclusivity is one of the traits that makes a fandom toxic.
Yeah.
So I think I agree with you.
I think the stigma helps a little bit, right? Because most of the divide in anime,
yep,
or in a lot of fandoms, anime is just an easy one to pick on.
Yeah, it's very easy. Even as people who are insiders, it's very easy to pick on.
Yeah, because it's like, oh no, we're not the weird anime. Look at those ones,
right? Or
oh no, we like the subs because this is how it was supposed to be presented.
Yeah. And there's some of them where that's still true.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
I'm just
Ooh, I'm going there. You did it again to me. You tried to do this last time, and I think you got me worse this time. There are some where the sub is just better than the dub. There are some, okay? It's fine.
I understand.
It's fine. There's some. They exist. That's all.
I'm not saying they don't exist.
Not all of them are.
No.
I love Chris Sabat or Chris Sabat.
Chris Sabat, yeah.
I love him as a voice actor, and he is incredible. He is, Vegeta. He is All Might. He is, he was in Full Metal. He was, what's his name? The big guy, the big. Yes. Armstrong. Yes. Lieutenant Armstrong.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
We're just gonna leave it there.
He had a first name, but
he does, but that's
who cares?
Not the important right now.
But I really enjoy him as a voice actor and his work.
I've mentioned animes and you look it up and you're like, oh no, Chris Sabat's dubbing it. That's how we're watching it. I want to watch it now.
Right. But that's just because I really like him as a voice actor and I appreciate his voice and what he brings to his characters.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's there are some where dub is way better because it has Chris Sabat. Sorry, nerds. If you don't like him, fuck you.
Hard stance.
I'm getting toxic on this one, bitch.
Well, that's good, because I wanted to bring up the stigma for a reason.
Okay. Let me have it, baby. I'm all in. Stigmatize me.
See, because this is an intervention.
Stigmatize that hoe. Sorry.
See, because... he just kind of called himself a hoe.
No. It was like a,
Yeah.
That thing. What's that phrase? That phrase? I was trying to do a play on words of from Soulja Boy. When he's
okay.
Supersize that up. Yeah. See? Gotcha. Stigmatize that up. See? That's what I was doing. It makes more sense now. Mm-hmm. I had to explain it, so It's obviously less funny, but to the people who got it the first time, you're great. I love you.
You're the reason why he keeps coming back. No, because you see, Kevin is part of a very toxic fan group.
Hell yeah. Let me have it.
That I loosely follow now. See, Kevin likes wrestling.
Fuck yeah, I do. I'm a big professional wrestling fan. And I am very toxic about the type of professional wrestling that I watch.
And as somebody who only watched professional wrestling, wow, I just had to make sure I said it right, which is awful.
Pro wrestling.
Oh, goddamn. As a kid, I watched it as a kid, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool, there's things going on, there's fire, Undertaker was really cool, I liked The Rock.
Yep.
And then
I was about to rip in you real bad.
Oh,
there.
I know, I did. I know.
I had the face.
Yeah, you did. I was ready. And then, like a lot of people, I abandoned it somewhere in the Attitude Era, which I also now know is a thing because of Kevin.
Right. The worst time to abandon it, by the way. Like, really, the golden age of...
Well, yeah, I abandoned it at its height.
Yeah. Yeah, you should have stayed a little bit longer. I mean, Ruthless Aggression Era was good. I mean, we saw the rise of John Cena, and like...
Well, I saw John Cena. Okay, fine. Maybe I...
So you're transitioning to the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Fuck, man, I'm doing it.
Probably you like 10 or 11, man.
Look what you did to me, you son of a bitch.
So easy. I like barely said anything. So, coming back and when I lived with Kevin, I realized, and a little bit beforehand, but not to the same extent, that Kevin is a big wrestling fan.
Yes.
And he will tell you why, I am sure, whether I ask him to or not.
It's a violent soap opera. It's brilliant. It is all of the levels of drama and like bullshit that I want, but then they get to fight it out. And it's like and some of the shit that these people can do is just insane. Like their athletic ability is off the charts, incredible. It's like watching a circus performance, but with more dramatic elements, and it's just, I love it. It's great. It's beautiful.
And now, of course, there's plenty of stigma around professional wrestling.
Yes.
For any number of reasons. The easy argument that it's fake, sure.
Excuse me? Rob.
Oh no! Okay.
No. Okay, you know I'm gonna do it.
Here we go.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's not fake. It's choreographed.
Yes, they're dancing on stage.
It's different. It's different. The pain is real. They do actually hit each other and they do get hurt.
Yeah, like some of the time.
The pain is real. All
like
of the
50%.
all of the strikes, the chops are real.
Kinda.
They are. You like they are like the chops are real. The strikes are real. You can fuck up doing one of the moves and you could potentially kill someone.
Yeah.
Like there's
And they might still win because the winner is scripted.
Yes, but I don't have a problem with that. I have no problem with matches being booked. I have no problem with them being moderately planned.
Moderately.
Yeah, because they're not. I mean, there's still a lot of like improv on the off the cuff stuff. Like there's, depending on who you are, where you are on the card, and what company you work for, you have different modicums of control over how your match runs. So it's, there are some that are going to be more heavily scripted, and booked, with a keener eye for details. And no, hold on, that's the wrong phrasing. They're going to be booked in such a way where it's going to be XYZ happen and then boom, there's the finish. There's other ones where I should say the higher up on the card wrestlers who have that more of a keen eye for detail, which is why I wanted to get rid of that and bring it back now, they have more freedom in terms of what they're doing in their matches.
Sure.
The outcome will always be the same, and that's fine.
So happy that I opened this up for him to let loose.
I'm trying to not go too heavy into this right now. I'm trying to hold back a little.
But it's because you're passionate about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. It's like it's just fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to follow the storylines, especially when they're well written.
And then it's fun to poke at them when they're not.
Exactly. Like I will shit on the product as much as I will glorify it.
The product being the show that he's watching at the time.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think that's a general enough term.
Sure.
Yeah, I would get... Fuck. I'm too far in, man. You gotta pull me out. No.
Yeah, because when I first came over and he started talking about the product and the different products and then faces and heels and the turns and the cards and most of the terms he just used and had no idea what he was talking about as an outsider. It's a good thing I was patient.
Yeah.
Because also if you don't know these things and you walk in to a pay-per-view of wrestling...
Yeah, you get actually real good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This one time...
At band camp?
This one time at band camp, I walked in on Kev and his good friend Rick.
No,
Irk, sorry.
How dare you?
That was my bad. I knew that one.
Yeah, it's Irk.
I walked in on Kevin Irk. And I tried to name a wrestler I thought I knew. And I got an... actually... For like half an hour, they went back and forth.
Yeah, it became the bit of the night, and we were making fun of ourselves while also being that person. So like there was a level of awareness at least. I think specifically, I have a memory of it being Damian Priest. Potentially, and I think you mentioned him, and I'm like, actually, that's Punishment Martinez from Ring of Honor, or something along those lines, because I have a minor memory of this. I have a major memory of the whole evening of us, bantering and going back and forth with the glasses push, as is tradition. Irk, not even being a glasses wearer, still did the same motion because it's...
Still did the actually and then pushed as if he had glasses and was adjusting them?
Because that's just, clearly how you sign that, no, I'm going to correct you right now. But yeah, at least we had a level of awareness in terms of poking fun at people who did that while still being the people that did it. Which I think makes it less toxic.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think...
Yeah, because Mia, the outsider, really understood all of the jokes.
Don't put it that way. Don't do that.
Because, well...
No, you're right. You're right. We were poking fun at...
You were poking fun at each other while still leaving the person who didn't understand anything in the corner like, wow, yeah, I mean, they seem to be having a good time, but their words that are coming out of their mouths could be a different language, and I would not know the difference.
That's fair. You are right. And I would say I'm sorry, but I don't actually feel that way. So I'm not going to apologize.
I'm going to take a minor moment here and give Kev some reprieve. He, as someone who is as passionate and knows way more than anybody needs to know about the fandom, is usually pretty good about taking his time and understanding the majority of people he invites over for pay-per-view events. Because there's been a few times where it's not a bunch of Kevs in the room.
You don't say.
Who can actually the entire match and the history of every performer on stage.
Oh, no, I'm not that good.
At times.
Yeah, there's a lot that I don't know. But I will, if I know something,
yeah,
I will share.
Right, but you can also be good about reading the room.
I try.
If the majority of the room is unsure.
Yes, I try.
If not, then you have no problem ripping into the other people, usually just me.
Right. Well, Rob, I think at this point, I feel like I have bequeathed enough knowledge to you that I will rip into you about things that you don't know.
You know what's funny?
I've also provided you with numerous resources that how to keep up.
You know what's funny is I think last episode we mentioned how people trying to gather people in the video games. Yeah, with League, we'll take either the approach of, oh, I'm going to teach you, or, oh, I'm going to beat you into the ground until you know.
Okay, what approach should I take, Rob?
I will beat you with wrestling knowledge until you can talk wrestling with me or die.
I think, even though I definitely dominated most of it, we had an almost fair share of back and forth when it came to different topics.
No, that.
I think specifically of that one night where we were up late. We were living together at the time, and yes, and we each took our hour. Like,
we did. We did.
You took an hour. I thought it might have been Berserk, but it could. No, it was solo leveling. Yes, you were right.
Solo leveling was the worst of the two, and I only didn't feel as bad. So one night it was already late. It was mid quarantine.
Yeah, and we had just watched wrestling.
And so Kevin went on a history rant of two wrestlers and why the match was important and how it was good and the critiques and the technicality of it, which is impressive.
For context, it was about Kenny Omega in his 3 phenomenal matches as a member of New Japan Pro Wrestling against Okada, who is the ace and one of, well, I mean, he's not considered, I'm doing it. He is not, I misspoke there. He is going to go down in history as one of the most important NJPW
New Japan
heavyweight
Wrestling.
New Japan Professional Wrestling heavyweight champions of all time. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to provide the context.
And so we had just watched wrestling. There was just Kenny Omega match. I would always rip into Kenny Omega because it gets him on a rant every time, and it's fun to watch. And also because he really gets a hard-on for him, and I think he's okay at best, based on what I've seen.
He's a really good wrestler.
And so I did what I'm doing right now, and Kev got excited, and we went and we watched some videos, and we talked about it for a while.
Yep.
And then I ranted about my latest obsession for a while.
Yep. And
which was fair.
It wasn't just Omega Okada. It was we expanded upon.
No, we did. We watched, and it was fine.
Yeah, because I think we talked about Will Ospreay for a bit. We talked about
I do remember that as a name.
Hiromu Tanahashi. No, Hiromu Takahashi.
I learned a lot about Japanese professional wrestling that night.
Yeah, it was pretty much just an hour about New Japan Pro Wrestling or NJPW. As for the future, anytime it's referenced, I will just be saying NJPW from now on.
If you can say it.
NJPW. Or just New Japan. Because I'm not saying it out every time.
Nah.
And you've heard it enough now that... Figure it out. Context, bitches. While we're there, WWE, AEW, and...
Separate things.
Well, yeah, of course, obviously. Shit! You're the worst! I hate this is being recorded. I hate it so much. WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, formerly World Wrestling Federation, formerly Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
It's the big one. It's the one everybody knows. If you've ever heard of Vince McMahon, it's his.
AEW, All Elite Wrestling.
It's the newcomer. They kind of, we're sick of WWE and them signing everybody and having the most money, and we're going to get a band together and rebel against them. And I enjoy their product better recently when I'm watching it, usually with Kevin.
I enjoy their product better and have been a fan who has consistently watched their product for the last 3 years.
Since it came out.
Yes. Since it was established 3 years ago, I have consistently watched their product. I don't think I've ever missed...
Not that you haven't watched after the fact.
Right, yeah, no, I have missed at the time, potentially, but I have always gone back and made sure I've seen every episode of television that they've produced, and all of their pay-per-view events. I'm a big fan of them. They have stolen my heart away from WWE.
Which, to be fair, didn't seem like it was too hard to do at the time.
No, it didn't. But, I mean, there was the one big event, when... you ready for this one?
Let's hear it.
You probably know what I'm going to say.
I'm not sure, but you're excited.
When The Fiend lost the Universal title to Goldberg in Saudi Arabia.
Okay, right, yeah.
And
you've mentioned this a lot. I still haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Probably because you never wanted to watch it again.
Right.
Yeah.
And it officially turned me off from the product for years.
Yeah.
I was still watching semi-regularly the TV episodes at that point. And that stopped that completely. I went just to pay-per-views. And now I have gotten down to just like the big four or big five.
Pay-per-views. Big four or big five.
Yes, which means...
Pay-per-views that WWE releases.
Rob, this is a good thing, though. I'm glad you're here to provide context to the people who don't understand anything that I'm saying.
That's what I'm here for, buddy.
Them being, the most popular ones, the ones that everyone loves, even though they've been getting consistently worse. And, yeah, the shows, in general, has been on the decline as of late.
In WWE.
Yes. Whereas AEW, they're new, they're refreshing. There are still plenty of things about them that I dislike. I'm not one of those, give them a pass on the shit that I don't like kind of people.
Irk would say you are, but that's not.
He's
not here.
He would. But I have a lot of critiques for different things, and when Nathan and I watch it together, we're like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are they doing? Oh, it's another one of these. Oh, it's this. Like, there are some repetitive elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
That at this point, I'm like, all right, let's change it up a little. Things are getting a little stale. There's a table spot almost every week on either one of the programs. Sometimes on both of the programs.
There's just not that many tables.
No. But
why is there?
I would say so far they've averaged one person going through a table a week for the last 3 years, which is not like that shouldn't be happening all the time. It should be a more special thing in a sense. It should happen less often, which would make it feel better, in my opinion.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Rob. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop.
I think that you have really segued nice here. I was able to say that you needed an intervention, and you were able to show why, and it was nice.
It's not an intervention. It's not an intervention.
So
you're not intervening. I'm not stopping. You have failed. If your goal was to get me to stop watching,
it wasn't. It was. There's no.
The intervention has failed. I'm not going to rehab. I'm fine. And fuck you. No.
But
here it comes.
I think that I've presented a stigmatized fandom.
Yes.
Which I only even listed the first of a few points of it being people thinking it's fake and didn't get to the other ones.
Oh.
Only to have him confirm
that,
if something is stigmatized, the fans will get defensive about their fandom.
Whoa, I mean, was I being defensive? I think that's a very strong word. I was just,
But so we immediately have the barrier to entry being, okay, there's a big stigma. Why would I get into this? And then a fan group who is not always the most inviting because there's a lot to know to enter the group. And some of the members are particularly poignant about certain things.
Okay. I've tried not to be that. I've still been it, but I've tried really hard not to. So I get credit for it. But you're not wrong. There are again, the I'm actually thing. Like, there are people out there. We were being those people.
You were being those people, but you were mostly joking, both with each other and towards me. But
yes.
There are people who do that in that fan group who are not joking.
No, they are upset that you are not fully aware of
and appreciating.
Yes,
and I think that's especially with this fandom, a big one is that it is the fan base feels like it's underappreciated because of what it is.
Yeah, no, I think that's very fair. I think underappreciation is a big part of it, and I think because we're so passionate about it, and like we see the highest of highs and the lowest of lows that can become of it, and like how we find it so incredible.
Yeah.
At the base, we do want to share it with people, which I think gets away slightly from that exclusivity part, but in wanting to share it with people,
a little overboard sometimes.
We go a little overboard, and we, not always consciously, but we often create a barrier to entry, because what comes across to some is just being excited and sharing knowledge, comes across to others as being like, well, if you don't know this, then why are you even trying to get involved? And I mean, that's really based on the individual and the delivery, and for sure. But yes, professional wrestling is a toxic fandom in general. I think on the whole, if you are a professional wrestling fan, you have the ability to be quite toxic. And it doesn't matter what companies you root for or what television or other programs you watch,
Yep.
The potential is there.
But see what I mean? It has a lot of the stigma looking at it.
Yes.
And it has a lot of the passion.
Yes. The passion.
The passion.
Yes. The passion of the Christ.
I actually just thought of the same thing.
Oh, I thought about it earlier, but I didn't say it. Yeah. I think the first time you did it, I'm like, yes. Religion. No. What a toxic fan base.
Oh, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We could, but we're not doing that today.
Okay. Yeah. No, I definitely see where you're coming from.
Because
the passion and the stigma.
Right.
But the stigma is warranted.
Okay.
I think it is. I think because of how the passion comes across.
Yeah. And
it aids in the stigma's existence and like the broadening of the stigma.
Sure. And to go as to how it might be warranted specifically for wrestling.
Yeah.
Some people who are diehard are not necessarily in Kevin's camp, where they understand that it is choreographed and story written. But there are some.
Yeah, there are
some who are diehard followers who are believers also.
It's that population has severely dwindled and is still significantly dwindling.
I agree, but that is the population that people who aren't in the community will immediately turn to and be like, why do you like this?
Yeah.
That, and although the Attitude Era is well known,
yes,
was a bit sexist.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. There's no forgiving that.
No. Early 2000s wrestling, I mean, they had bra and panties matches and mud wrestling matches, and it was very much for male gaze.
All throughout the 90s and into the early 2000s. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Yep. Also, mildly off topic. Rob wasn't saying that the bra and panties matches were for male gaze. They were for the gaze, as in looking, the viewing of males. Even though I'm sure there are plenty of gay males out there that also enjoy
yes.
the bra and panties matches.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. No, I didn't even... Yeah, I just speak poorly.
Right.
Yeah, gaze as in Gaze.
Yes.
Not the gay community.
Right.
But I mean, if they want, I don't care.
Again, I'm sure there's plenty of people who enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. But I just wanted to clarify how you phrased that.
Yeah.
And what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to help you out. I didn't want you to get any backlash.
I don't think that anybody outside of the community had any question that they were like, yeah, there's a lot of girls in bikinis in wrestling and dudes are going to want to watch that.
Yeah, I'm just saying how
also,
I heard it.
the light homoerotic nature in general of the oiled up wet boys wrestling.
Okay, maybe it is just how I heard it then, huh?
Yeah.
I definitely heard it as that, and I'm like, oh, well, I mean, let's just clarify for safety's sake, I don't want to,
No, because I think without, like, the, it's real, or the more scantily clad airings in previous times, honestly, to a point you brought up earlier, it's a soap opera with a bunch of half-naked dudes wrestling each other. I've mentioned it many a time. I don't know why it doesn't have a larger female fan base.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that comes to I don't believe this next statement to be true. Just to put that out there.
Yeah. We did episode 1 for a reason.
You're right. But yeah, so I don't believe the next thing I'm about to say is true. With that nice preface, there is an opinion that girls watch less porn than men. So I think the erotic nature of professional wrestling would coincide with people, the lack of a large female fan base and for professional wrestling would coincide with that statement being true. I don't personally believe that girls watch less porn than guys, but if it were true, it would make sense. That there's not a large fan base.
Female fan base watching professional wrestling.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know.
I don't know either. It's just,
I'm sure WWE has stats on it.
Oh, probably.
But I don't.
No. No. I don't know. Just, maybe.
That's true.
Maybe. Probably not.
And I mean, I don't think that... I mean, you could easily say that any other sports team fans are probably toxic to each other. I mean, you could... Red Sox versus Yankees.
Fuck the Dallas Cowboys. I don't care. They're a shitty team. I don't like them. They call themselves America's team because they think they're the best in the fucking world, and they're shit. Oh, when's the last time you won a playoff game, bitches? Fuck out of here. Hate them.
And baseball and probably more so football fandoms. It gets a little heated in there.
As it should. As it should. Don't leave me on an island here. You also hate the Cowboys.
I'm sorry. You're right. I was letting you do that and me not saying anything. Fuck the Cowboys.
Yeah, thank you. God, they suck.
And Cowboys fans are just jerks about it sometimes.
Yeah, they're the worst. They are the worst.
And we are a Patriots fan and a Giants fan here.
Yeah.
And we don't like each other for those purposes either.
Well, I mean, I have no problem with it.
You hate the Patriots.
No, I strongly dislike the Patriots. I like them more now that Tom Brady isn't there anymore because they're not winning as much. So I can let them bounce up a couple spaces from the bottom.
And I would take stabs at the Giants, but I don't need to.
Yeah. Me neither. Yeah. Hey, Rob, we've been rebuilding for the last 6 years, okay?
Sure.
Okay, and we're still...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It takes a long time to rebuild, really. Not everyone just finds their next great quarterback. Sometimes you have Daniel Jones for a couple years.
When was your first great quarterback?
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. Phil Simms.
But, okay, so straight out the gate, another example, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sports fandoms are... Yeah.
Sports fandoms are toxic.
Yes, absolutely.
For anybody who doesn't know the sport, okay, I gotta learn all the rules, fine. Then I have to know the teams. Then I have to understand how the teams intermingle.
Okay.
And how they've been doing to understand anything that we've just said.
Yes, but you don't have to know all the things to enjoy watching the game.
Right.
I mean, the rules, kind of.
Kind of.
But not even fully.
Right.
And you can still find people and teams that you just like to root for.
Sure.
And not fully understand all the interactions.
But I think that it has less stigma if we're talking about football.
Oh, absolutely.
And so there's an easier barrier to entry because it's everywhere.
Yep. Yep. Especially in America.
America.
Fuck yeah. That's our sport, man. I mean, so is lacrosse, but, we don't talk about that one because, a white person didn't invent it, so can't really talk about it. It's not our national sport.
I don't know enough about anything you just said. What?
Lacrosse is a traditionally Native American sport.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I also didn't know that it was mostly popular in America because it's not very well publicized.
Yeah, well, it's not popular anywhere else. So.
It didn't just make the Olympics? I thought Jerry was excited. It just made the Olympics.
Maybe.
Who watched last year's Olympics?
I watched the gymnastics. Leave it at that. Leave it at that. Well, because they're so good,
Yeah, that's fair.
And there's a showmanship to it. I think...
Yeah, okay.
All right, you ready for this one?
Oh, no, I'm here.
You ready for this one? I think there's a significant amount of similarity between gymnastics, musical theater, and professional wrestling.
Wow, okay. And I don't think any of those fandoms intermingle much.
Hello.
Okay, well,
I like watching the gymnastics at the Olympics. I love musical theater, and I am just a minor pro wrestling fan, really. Like, not really into it or anything, but the guy talking 30 minutes ago was definitely someone who wasn't me. So
Kevin is the unicorn. He's the one.
I did it.
Although we probably branch a lot of fandoms combined.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like we can half-ass talk about. Well, you've been here for a few episodes.
Hey Rob, what can we half-ass talk about? Huh. I wonder how many different things we can half-ass talk about. Man, I hope it's a lot more.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
Otherwise, this is going to be a real sad ending right here. Oh, hey, look at us. Look at all the things we can half-ass talk about last episode ever recorded. Like, oh, well, I guess they were wrong. No.
Well, there's more lost sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes,
but yeah, so sports are the easy ones, and there's a lot of fandoms that are easily hit on that I'm sure have toxic people. I didn't even realize. So TK,
yeah,
I'm not trying to.
You putting TK on blast?
No.
Oh, you putting TK on blast?
No,
all right,
no.
Come on, Rob.
No.
Come on, Rob.
I have been more properly introduced to the board game fandom, which I just never thought about.
Well, I mean, everyone likes board games.
Yeah, that's what you would think.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you realize, oh, there's more than the basic ones.
What do you... Okay, Rob, I don't think there was ever a point in either... Well, I can't speak for you. There was never a point in my life where, like, it was just the basics. Like,
There was for me, like Uno, Monopoly, Sorry, Trouble.
Yeah.
Yahtzee, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, like, I don't know, we, in our household, we quickly branched out into different things and tried different things all the time.
Yeah, not us at all.
Okay, so I was just, okay, I shouldn't have tried to speak for you. Glad I stopped myself. Yeah, no, I never, hardly ever stuck to the normal. It was always something different.
Actually, I think that your family and TK's are somewhat similar in that regard, where it's not uncommon family gathering, let's play something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at least in both of mine, not always the case.
Fair.
And I think in situations like yours, where that allows you to branch out past the minimum.
Absolutely. To a point where, like, the basics are almost never played.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You know.
Well, it's because there's so many more, but but then you say that and you're like, oh, well, I don't know, and then even amongst like the anime community, like in the board game community, there's some divides.
Okay.
There's certain games with a level of complexity and hours that we wouldn't necessarily play.
Are we including like Warhammer into this?
I don't.
Is that a quote unquote board game?
But see, this is what I'm saying though. So like, okay, there's board games, but the board game people will look at the tabletop people like, what are you doing over there?
Yeah. Board game community and like D&D or other like tabletop RPGs are like there's crossover, but there's not as much as
there's not a lot of intermingling.
Yeah.
And like, why? You're just playing something.
Yeah, what's the difference? You know?
Well, but see, that's that. Then there's the outside who's like, okay, guys, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, I mean, we're not pretending to be other people. Like, that's weird, you know? We're just moving pieces on a board. Oh, really? Is that... Okay, so are we. But, you know, we have minifigs and, you know, we do a lot of it in our imagination.
And even some of it, there's not as much as others.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone through... We've done better at than most, but still failed at completing 2 D&D campaigns.
Yeah, well, we got to the almost half point at one.
Yeah.
And we almost got to the actual desired beginning of the other.
Okay.
We were still in the prequel, technically, of number 2.
But the first campaign, we were in for more than 3 years. And most campaigns that people try to get together and run, from my understanding, don't last more than a couple months.
Sure.
So, years.
Yeah.
And even the second campaign, although not consistently because we were switching back and forth, was still like a solid year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
So, I mean, more success than others. But
for sure.
there's a huge stigma with D&D.
Yeah, which is, from my opinion, thankfully, greatly decreasing.
Yes, but because
we're not summoning demons anymore. It's not the 80s.
Well, no,
there's no.
Well, so interestingly enough, I think D&D is one where the stigma is getting less, but the fandom's getting worse.
No, I don't think that's true.
You don't think that's true?
No. I think it depends on the content. Oh, shit. Okay, there are probably toxic elements to it. But I think you're easily able to stay away from the toxic elements of it. I don't think it's become like an overpowering stain on the community as a whole.
It's really tough because D&D can be a good game.
Mm-hmm. It's a great social experience with friends.
It can be.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just... The role-playing is not always to the degree that the population that has a stigma around it wants it to be.
Explain a little more on that one. I'm a little confused by what...
So the population that has a stigma about D&D is because they think that it's all just strange role-playing.
Yeah.
And I think that they think it's...
Well, it's not LARPing.
But...
Sorry.
But even... Okay, we just made the progression, alright? We got the board game people, we got the tabletop people... So we got some Warhammer and longer board games in there, and then them looking over at D&D like, okay, guys, what are you doing? And then the D&D fan group looking over at LARPing like, all right, I mean, we're doing this.
Hey, I'm not going that far. Like, I have standards. No.
And LARPing's probably a good time.
I'm sure it's a lot of fun.
I have not talked to somebody who's done it who didn't like it. Which I'm skeptical about. I just haven't done it myself.
Totally random thought. How much crossover is there between the LARPing community and the historical reenactment community?
So, okay. Crazy.
I would think a good amount.
I don't think as much as you think, but I think there's one transitions into the other. So, TK's grandparents do historical reenactment.
Cool.
TK's sister, having seen that and grown up with it, does LARPing.
So it's the evolution.
I think it might be, right? It's a more comfortable idea of roleplay.
It is.
Without it having to be sexualized or, I don't know, summoning demons.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you guys were fine reenacting historical events.
Fireball!
You guys were fine. We're making fun of it and ourselves.
Yeah, it's great.
You guys were fine reenacting events and battles and things.
Yep.
Why not just, take that and have some fun with it?
Put it in a fantasy experience. Make it a little different.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. All right, this is a real hard stop. This is a bad transition. It's a hard stop. No.
It's not gonna.
It is.
You think?
Yes. We're hard stopping. We're ending. We're done. Thank you for listening. There's not going to be a part 3.
Kevin's saying there can't be a part 3.
There's no part 3. I'm sorry. We appreciate you staying this whole time, listening through it. You're probably kind of ridiculous for making it this far.
Honestly, it's been a while. Thank you.
Thank you, and we love you.
He does.